right now have yet to make their trip down pit road. Justin Malillo, Brandon Brown, Devin Henry, Steve Affont getting some airtime up here at the front of the field. And you know, I got to say, they have a little bit of wiggle room here if they want to try and pull something off here. They have the ability to stay out maybe a lap or two more. Right time, they may either pull everybody down with them and resume the lead, or they'll pit and have fresher tires in the rest of the field. So back where they were running at about the 20 or 25th position, not really a whole lot to lose for these drivers. I like the strategy call. We'll see if a yellow does come out. That would certainly flip things on their head here at Pocono Raceway, but we know it is quite common here at this racetrack to have these races come down to this. So we'll cycle it back once again around this racetrack. You can see Bailey Turner right now kind of leading that second pack. Malillo is your race leader. We'll see if the call comes in for him to come down to pit lane, and yes, he is. He will turn left, get down to 55 miles an hour, and Justin Malillo will relinquish the race lead. Brown now has it. We'll take one more follower. That is Steve Affont, just a little further back from Justin Malillo in that 53 car that makes their way down pit lane. So 20 laps to go. We are just about complete with this green flag cycle. Ford Martin is on pit road as well. We also see one more car, who that is, in the back of pit road that makes their pit stop. It is Case Collenbach, the out of the groove machine. Have to throw that out there, of course.
Beautiful, love that.
Yeah, exactly, and that'll just about do it. Aside from your top 5 that have yet to pit.
I do like this call, though, by the guys up at the front. Brandon Brown, I know Justin Malillo in this group as well. You see Case Collenbach. There's the out-of-the-groove car with Eric's face on the front end, coming out of pit road this time by a gorgeous car, by the way. But I do like the call by the guys up front. Here comes Brandon Brown in, and although they're going to lose track position, they have lost the advantage they had over guys like Bailey Turner and Corey Heim. These are all guys that were at one point in the top 4, started 19th or worse in this race. Haven't really had a lot of chances up at the front of the field. So with the tire difference, they may be able to pick off a couple of cars, get a better track position finish at the end of this race, and gain some solid points and just be able to have a better race near the end. So it's a very interesting, and it could be a risky call in some cases, but I think I like it if you're these guys that have been hanging in the back for so long.
It's worked out for them. It's worked out this cycle for Corey Heim. You can see him right there just behind Bailey Turner. Heim has possessed so much speed all night long, and we think about how things have kind of cycled out here. Did pit a couple laps earlier than Adam Cabin and a couple of others, but has kind of found his way with Turner with some draft at the front of the field, and I think Heim in a really good position to perhaps take over and be in a position to win. Devin Henry makes his way down to the pit lane, so he has relinquished his race lead. Brandon Brown also pit as well, so it is just Stephen Ellis and Mark Rebellis right now who have yet to travel down to pit lane.
Man, Blake, we've had a couple of almost caution moments. The guys, especially that have pitted, Ronnie Osmer, DJ Cummings, I was getting sketchy back there with Gary Sexton, Colin Fern. They've kept it clean for the time being, but I've been watching them just in case, because there have been some moments where I thought I was going to have to open up the mic and yell trouble turn 2, but so far, so good. We'll see if that holds on for the 18 or so laps that we have left.
We'll see if it does. Up the racetrack goes the 99, who is your race leader for now. And does Rebellis get him a lap lead? That he does. Ellis will pull down to the pit lane, and Mark Rebellis right now, your race leader at Pocono. Good to see for old Mark.
By the way, he took the lead from Stephen Ellis. They were side by side as Devin Henry, who was the former leader, was coming down pit road. So a beautiful battle before the 99 was able to win out on the 46. And Ellis, of course, coming in this time by. But I like the point that you brought up, Jacob, just because in a long run where the whole field is so split, is so strung out in this race, and a big track, Pocono Raceway, 2.5 miles, you can end up in what I like to call the overthinking zone. You're running by yourself, maybe you're running with another car, and you're in a long run, you're just settled in. one slight mistake, if you overthink your car, the way you're driving it, or even maybe if you lack off a little bit, you smack the outside wall, that could be the prime recipe for trouble. So although we're seeing a lot of the field strung out, not many packed in battles in the racetrack as of the moment, you can never count out the possibility of a mistake on either one of these corners. Again, a three-headed beast can hit you at any time.
16 laps to go. It's kind of been fading quickly here as we talked about this run, but this would be the battle for the race lead. Turner, Heim, and Chase Cabry, your top three.
Look at a turn one. Bailey Turner still going to maintain ahead of the 51. They're roughly 2.5 seconds behind Mark Rubilis. Of course, that 99 is still awaiting pit road. We know how long the pit delta is here at Pocono, so we may just have this three-way battle for P1. It's going to get dicey.
And Heim and Cabry have kind of been working together to try and catch the 5 of Bailey Turner, because Turner was out in front by about half a second, but he is out in front by half a second. No more, as they're within about a second and a half of Mark Rubilis. He is going to pit this time by. Bailey Turner takes the lead on the front straightaway.
But Bailey Turner holds it. Corey Heim in second and Chase Cabry in third. Cabot is not too far back either, but with 16 laps to go, the battle is on for the top spot here at Pocono. Bailey Turner has it into turn one.
And for the 17 of Adam Cabot, you love the real estate that's going to be opening up right in front of you, because he's got 2 lap fresher tires than any of the drivers in your top 3. So a lot of targeting opportunities for the 17. That 39 peaks to the inside. He might charge for it. No, he won't, though. Maintain single file through your top 3 back to turn 2.
Little surprised to see Corey Heim not make the move. Perhaps he thinks he needs to save a little bit more Sunoco fuel, but right now he stayed tucked behind the 5 going into turn number 2, but now he's got pressure. Here comes Cabot underneath Cabry. That's for P3 through turn 3.
Adam Cabot down to the bottom side, but doesn't look like he's quite clear of Chase Cabry. He's going to hang on that right rear quarter panel, pull him back. No drafting help for Adam Cabot, and Cabot going to fall back to 4th. Bailey Turner has a little bit of help in front of him, though, with some lap traffic. You mentioned it.
And that's a 41 of Matt Stolnick right in front. That's big, though, for Stolnick. Minus 27 on the charts. He's going to be in a must-win situation, most likely by the time they get to Chicagoland next week. But they are door-to-door, 2 rows deep on the back straightaway. Could this help Adam Cabot maintaining the draft as Chase Cabry has to check up?
Stolnick on the outside line, playoff driver fighting for his life in the way of the battle for the lead. Bailey Turner gets a little wide coming off the exit at turn number 2. That may allow the 51 of Corey Heim to reel him in. They're still single file. Your top 4 is now, Nick Olson almost gets turned by Colin Fern getting into turn 3.
They make contact back there. Stolnick would be the lucky dog, but Massey is just up the road as well, or excuse me, that's Michael Fisher. They could go a lap down and take that lucky dog away from that 41 car. Corey Heim, Bailey Turner, 2-car tandem into turn 1 as now Cabot makes the move on Corey Heim.
And that was a little bit sketchy there for the 17. He almost had to back out of it as he almost made contact with the 51. Heim going to be smart and pinch him on the inside of turn 1. 17 side by side with the 51. They almost made contact. In fact, they do. Chase Cabry going to get the support on the back straightaway.
The inside line will have the momentum, at least for the moment, with Adam Cabot through turn 2. Wheel to wheel over the bumps in the tunnel. Cabot has the advantage. Here comes Heim with the run back on the outside. Cabry there to push him, going back into turn number 3. Still side by side for position number 2. Cabot drives it in really deep. It's Turner leading off turn 3.
And there is
Caution's
a caution. Yeah, caution on the speedway. It was off of turn number 2. DJ Cummings and Joey Padgett got together off of the second corner, and this will change everything to the end of this race. It looks like Padgett got a little bit loose. You can see right behind that eNASCAR machine, car 66. Cummings checks up a little bit, and then, Padgett is chasing that race car. That nose is wandering all over the place off the corner. Gets into Cummings, who has nowhere to go. The eNASCAR Ford Fusion into the inside wall, and boy, does this change everything. I just say Fusion, I meant Mustang.
Well, so they somewhat look similar if you look at the last gen Ford Fusion and then the current gen Ford Mustang, but there's a look at the contact again between the 10 and the 83. It's so tough to straighten this car out when you get it sideways, especially out of that second corner. When you rise up off the banking, you get onto that little chute heading for turn 3, and unfortunately it catches the 10 of DJ Cummings and he slaps the inside wall. I can imagine for Adam Cabot, might be a little frustrating because he had 2 lap pressure tires and all the guys he was getting around, and now he's going to be on an even playing field. These guys have at least 1 more tire set left in them, so it's going to be even by the time we get to a restart inside 10 to go.
Now the question is, with everything on the line, who is going to pit, who's going to stay out, who's going to roll the dice and try an alternate strategy from the rest of the field? I think we've put together, and you talked about it earlier, Jacob, you cannot stay out on old tires without expecting a much slower race car. The tire fall off is real, and they do matter, and I think you're going to see it right now. Everybody agrees. Trip down to pit lane. Is everybody going to take 4 or 2? I think that's the biggest question. Bailey Turner going to lead them down to the pit lane.
I think you have to take 4. If you take it we're going to have, what, 9 to go on a restart? And you know they're going to wreck again. So, now, Mark Rebillis pitted 5 laps before the caution came out, maybe 4 laps before the caution came out. So he doesn't have a lot of wear on his tires. He stays out. Number 99, as long as he doesn't pit, he's going to be your race leader here. And it looks like we may have a little bit of strategy. This driver's getting out of the box. I saw some guys getting let go a little early, but no, it looks like most of them taking 4 tires. Presley Sora taking 2. So is Melillo. So is Connor Berry. So we do have some strategy here at the front.
You know what? I love that call from Presley Sora because he had a lot of track position to make up, and he gets a bunch very quickly. May not be a winning move for Presley, but can maybe net him about 10 points or so. But you can see it right now at the front of the field. 1 driver stays out on the lead lap. It is Mark Rebillis, who is on only 5-lap old tires because of how late he pit in the cycle. So Rebillis is your race leader. A big wrench thrown in this out at the Groove 200. Certainly going to shake things up. When we come back, we'll take you to the checkered flag and see who will win, who might lock in their chance to battle for a championship in 2 weeks' time. We'll be right back with the Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries right after this.
This is an Interstate battery. More pros trust this than any other out there. Yeah, more pros. More. Even more pros. Keep going, Moss. Look, we're gonna run out of time before we run out of pros who like Interstate. I mean, we'll run out of time before we even run out of left-handed pros who knit. These pros are everywhere, which means so is this battery. Right around the corner, up the street, everywhere. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Frontstretch.com, providing up-to-date news, analysis, and commentary on all the latest in the world of motorsports. Check out Frontstretch YouTube page for post-race content after the checkered flag waves for most NASCAR events, giving you up-close interviews with your favorite drivers and the stories that matter each weekend. For the best seat of the track and the best view on the web, visit Frontstretch.com.
Visit our website at toughgoflooring.com.
Get the edge on your competition with P8 Performance Gummies. Formulated specifically for gamers and the esports industry, we packed our gummies with all the good stuff, including ingredients that are clinically proven to help tired eyes, improve reaction times, and help suppress computer vision syndrome. Take your focus and endurance to the next level and try P8 Gummies today. Now available at Procelerate.com. Plus, if you're mad about gaming, we're looking to partner with influencers just like you. Drop us a line at support out at Procelerate.com to see if you qualify to try our gummies for free. It's officially game on with
just in time to take the green flag. Rebilla's going to have to be picture perfect on this restart to keep this race lead, and it looks like for now he is. Green flag back in the air, just 8 more laps to go. They are 3 wide now for second. Rebilla's trying to block. They're going to be 4 wide for the lead into turn 1.
They're going to split the middle. The 99 has nowhere to go and almost slams the 17. How about the 51 sliding up the racetrack in turn 1? Here comes Bailey Turner. They're still 4 wide in the midst of the top 5. More contact between the 98 and the 13. And how about the 17 pushing the 5 to the lead? Car around back straight away.
Still under green as they make their way through turn number 2. Mark Rebilla sinking through the field like a brick in a 2-foot creek. Meanwhile, Bailey Turner, your race leader, side by side for second between Adam Cabot and Corey Heim. Cabot on the bottom, Heim on the high side. Colin Fern in the mix. Cabry on his outside. Then further back, Connor Berry and Nick Olson.
Taylor cleared by about a car length right now, and side by side they go for second. Turner's going to go to the bottom and give Cabot a little bit of draft, but Corey Heim pulls up right to the back bumper of Turner. He gets blocked into the wall by Adam Cabot.
Smart move by Turner there. Him and the number 17 both have worked together so well over the past season or so. You want them to be 1-2 by the time this race is over. The 17 still can't find a way to clear Corey Heim. The 17 will have some sort of space in between the 51 and the 39, but it's all Bailey Turner up front back to turn 2.
Cabot drives it in deep into turn number 2, trying to take that second spot away. Corey Heim with the run up on the high side of the racetrack. Chase Cabry will push him on that outside. Cabot left all alone on the bottom. Heim can't quite clear himself for position number 2. Chase Cabry trying to make it 3 wide, but they're still just side by side for P2.
Side by side for second, but Cabry has a lot of influence here. Who is he going to push out of this battle for second? The answer is Corey Heim. Down the front straightaway, big momentum for the 51. He just has nowhere to go before he gets to the 14 degrees of banking.
It's felt like it's become a tag team. The 5 and the 17 have been on the same page, and the 51 and the 39 have been on their own, but they're inviting the 86 of Colin Fern, the 24 of Nick Olson. Contact between the 39 and the 86. Fern's able to save it, and here comes Cabry to the inside for third.
That was scary, especially with a playoff guy, the non-playoff guy making contact. Here comes Cabry, though, to the inside of Cabot. They're wheel to wheel. They almost make contact, headed toward turn number 3 down the short chute. Bailey Turner around in front. Corey Heim sits in second. He's a playoff guy. Your race leader is not. Here comes Heim, looking to the bottom of the racetrack. They're going to be side by side off turn 3.
And Corey Heim trying to get the momentum off the corner.
Turn 3. Matt Stolnick in the outside wall. Ford Martin is around. I think Presley Sora, is the car that got a piece of it. No, that's Steve Font involved in this one back here. It started again with teammates, and Matt Stolnick now has a meatball flag to make his night so much better.
It's been a long couple of weeks for Matt Stolnick, and we're going to see it one more time. Yeah, gets into the corner just a little too hot, gets into the back of Ford Martin. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That's a teammate.
And they were teammates. More drama there as Stolnick just tried to send it turn 3, and I think the 07 was trying to hold on to the brakes and arc the car in the best way possible. He was looking at Brett Baldock in the 44. That's a hard hit there for Stolnick, and then Baldock nowhere he could go, just slams on the front bumper rather of his Toyota Camry. And that puts us guys in a restart inside. 5 laps to go. Do we get a green-white check on? I think we may be in that territory already.
You know, the amount of time we said that they're teammates, it makes me think of that Vine.
And they were roommates.
Yeah, well, and again, I think we have to explain what Vine is to a lot of our viewers out there, because it's all about TikTok nowadays. Back in my day.
Well, TikTok is sort of a reincarnation of Vine, if you really think about it. Short videos, quick content, funny creators, at least most of them are. So I'd say it's sort of a newer version, I guess.
Yeah, I will agree. If you look up a YouTube compilation of vines for all you youngins out there, yeah, you can just do that, and you'll probably get a gist of what we're saying. But yes, Matt Stolnick is on the access road right now, and he can barely drive the car on that. So he is going to have required damage, and will no doubt be in a must-win situation with just one race left in the regular season, or excuse me, not the regular season, the playoffs, to try to advance to the championship 4. He's going to bring down a couple of drivers that were involved in that accident. Steve Font, Brett Baldeck is on pit road as well, Justin Malillo, and I think we may have gotten the one to go signal, if I'm... no, I'm incorrect. Still 2 to go right now. Trying to give everybody an opportunity to come down and have the chance to pit. So major implications in this race, Kenneth, with the fact that Turner right now is your race leader. He is not a playoff driver, but if you look at the 3 drivers behind him on the scoring pylon, all are in Interstate Batteries green, which would indicate if they win, they would advance automatically for a chance to win the Season 6 championship.
And look at the buffers and points. It's practically non-existent on the right side of your screen. Adam Cabot is only 4 points ahead of that cut line before you get to the 51 of Corey Heim, who's the last driver in as it stands. If Bailey Turner wins this race, inside 5 laps to go from Pocono, he creates a huge difference between 4 drivers having to point their way in versus only 3. And when you have only 3 with a playoff driver locked in, trust me, it gets a lot harder for everybody below the cut line, and even some those above it, to maintain their position and stay where they are if things go haywire at Chicagoland in a week. So this move for the win might just be as far as desperation can get if you're Corey Heim, Adam Cabot, or Chase Cabre, because it's the meaningful win that could get you into the championship 4, and also to sort of chokehold everybody else to have to fight for those 3 spots and points next week.
It is going to be so tight. It has been every single season that we've come out for this Monday Night Racing Pro Series presented by Interstate Batteries. You never know until the very end who is going to be competing up here for this championship. We will get the 1 to go signal this time. We will have 3 laps to go. This will not be an attempt at overtime when we get back to the green flag. You'll have Turner, Heim, your top 2, all the playoff drivers that we just mentioned in tow. But you also have some guys that with some fresh tires and with the right run, they can make something happen up here. Nick Olson still looking for his first career Monday Night Racing Pro Series win. You have Connor Berry back there looking for the same as well. Sage Karam could strike once again after his win at Watkins Glen last week. So a lot of capable winners all the way back through the top 10. Gary Sexton could have something happen as well. And I know we've seen a lot of crazy restarts tonight. We've seen 3, we've seen 4, Jacob. I think maybe we see some 5 wide on this restart.
Well, I guess it depends on how good or how bad of a restart somebody at the front of the field has. If somebody misses a shift or is a little slow getting onto the gas, you're going to see, I think, 5 or 6 wide. You know, that last one I thought we were going to see 5 with Mark Rabillas. He got out in front early, but then got eaten alive by the time he got to turn number 1. Be really interested to see how they handle this restart because, you know, this is really it. It's do or die at this point. And yeah, you had the 3 green-white checkers. You don't really want to use them, but you don't want to wreck the race car because, again, no fast repairs. You wreck it, you're stuck with it for the remainder of the night. Plus, well, these guys just pitted 7 laps ago, so don't worry about fuel anymore, but it could have had fuel implications as well as far as making it to the end.
Thoughts in 3 words, Eric, before we go green?
Well, I asked the chat over under 5.5 wide on this restart, and almost everyone's taking the over.
Not a bad call right there as Bailey Turner will get us back underway. 3 laps to go here at Pocono. Bailey Turner out by about a car length over Adam Cabot.
Sabile!
Saved it. We stay green. My goodness, how did he save it? Back up front, Bailey Turner leading the field into turn number 1.
That's a pivotal restart. Josh Mendoza says the restart's under review, by the way. But look at Nick Olson, the 24, out of nowhere. Shot out of a cannon on the restart. Only problem is he's the lone driver on the inside. Here comes Adam Cabot. A huge push from Corey Heim. They'll chase Bailey Turner heading for turn 2.
And again, nobody can get to the inside of car number 5, even with the massive draft. That 24 continues to fall back. The field keeps it straight, headed to turn number 3. They'll be coming to 2 laps to go, this time by Colin Fern with a big send into turn number 3 on the bottom. They're 3 wide for P5. They'll keep it straight coming off the corner.
Cabry has to be mindful. He's a playoff driver. He just needs to bring it home with a solid finish. It doesn't need to get lost in all that 3 wide battling. Back up front, Adam Cabot with a run into turn 1. Not going to take the move, though. He'll let push Bailey Turner. One car spinning hard to the inside wall into turn 1.
And that looks to be Connor Berry in the 0-2 in trouble. He's in the grass in turn 1, but Josh Mendoza race control will still keep this race green.
More
Another
trouble
car on the back straightaway. That's Presley Sora and Colin Fern involved. They'll save it.
I think Reed Wilson had some contact in there as well, but they keep it pointed in the right direction. Connor Berry, by the way, he had a restart violation given to him right before the crash. Not sure if he just gave up and went home or what. Meanwhile, for the lead, coming to the last lap, Bailey Turner out in front looking for his first win in Monday Night Racing. Adam Cabot looking for a championship fight.
Adam Cabot off of the final corner. They'll see the white flag this time, presented by Interstate Batteries. 1 to go here at Pocono. Here comes Corey Heim into the back of Adam Cabot. 3-car tandem into the front of the field as they go to 1 for the final time.
That was a big push by Corey Heim that's going to give Adam Cabot the inside, but does the 51 play against the 17 out of turn 1? Cabot goes loose. They almost make contact. Corey Heim goes to the outside for second. He'll maintain behind Bailey Turner. Cabot left for dust on the final time for turn 2.
Heim does not make the move to try and get by Bailey Turner. He gives him a push. He's out in front by 2 car lengths. Almost contact for third between Cabry and Cabot. Here they come to turn 3 for the final time. Heim to the inside. Gives Bailey Turner the bumper. Moves him out of the way. Will Chase Cabry have a shot? Heim leads off the corner.
And it looks like that is going to do it. A touch to the door, and Corey Heim is going to advance to the championship 4 with the last lap pass on Bailey Turner. He used him up just a little bit, and that was the difference as Corey Heim, your pole sitter, dominated early and finds himself back at the front of the field on the final lap. Corey Heim will be battling for a title in Season 6.
Heartbreak for Leighton Sabile, Blake. Everybody was hitting the wall, it seemed like, coming off turn number 3. He got turned to the inside wall and hit about 2 feet in front of the barrels at the end of pit road wall, tore the front end off the race car. He lost a lot of spots. As if the spin wasn't enough, he will finish 32nd, and that's going to put him with his back against the wall next week at Chicagoland to fight for a championship.
We'll see it one more time. Sabile with late trouble, a playoff driver. That's going to cost him a number of positions. Presley Sora, late trouble as well. He finishes in 23rd. So a lot of late playoff drama here at Pocono, but perhaps none better than that driver right there. Best paint scheme, best driver in the field for tonight. Corey Heim, your winner tonight at Pocono Raceway.
Ties for 5th, Blake, on the all-time M&R wins list, and it's hard to believe that this is really his first full-time season in Monday Night Racing. Remember, last season torched the field in some races, but he was only part-time, entered late in the running, and look at the difference a couple of months makes. Corey Heim in the championship 4. He's going to be in Homestead of Miami first, other than everyone else that will have to fight for the other 3 spots at Chicago.
And when we approach the trucks next week at Chicagoland, he will have absolutely nothing to worry about. He can just go there and just race for fun before we move on to the championship round in 2 weeks' time. When we come back, you'll hear from our winner tonight, as well as some others, for the Out of the Groove 200, that Corey Heim is your race winner. We'll be right back.
This is an Interstate Battery. More pros trust this than any other out there. Yeah, more pros. More. Even more pros. Keep going. Moss. Look, we're going to run out of time before we run out of pros who like Interstate. I mean, we'll run out of time before we even run out of left-handed pros who knit. These pros are everywhere, which means so is this battery. right around the corner, up the street, everywhere. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
Frontstretch.com, providing up-to-date news, analysis, and commentary on all the latest in the world of motorsports. Check out Frontstretch YouTube page for post-race content after the checkered flag waves for most NASCAR events, giving you up-close interviews with your favorite drivers and the stories that matter each weekend. For the best seat of the track and the best view on the web, visit Frontstretch.com.
Get the edge on your competition with P8 Performance Gummies. Formulated specifically for gamers and the esports industry, we packed our gummies with all the good stuff, including ingredients that are clinically proven to help tired eyes, improve reaction times, and help suppress computer vision syndrome. Take your focus and endurance to the next level and try P8 gummies today. Now available at Procelerate.com. Plus, if you're mad about gaming, we're looking to partner with influencers just like you. Drop us a line at support at Procelerate.com to see if you qualify to try our gummies for free. It's officially game on with all new P8 gummies.
Back with you here from Pocono Raceway. A thrilling finish in the Out of the Groove 200. A last lap pass between Corey Heim and Bailey Turner as they slug it out. Heim, we'll talk to him in just a moment. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the rest of the results from tonight's race. Adam Cabot finishes in third behind those top two. Chase Cabry in fourth. Sage Karam rounds out your top five. And Gary Sexton, Nick Olson, David Schildhouse, Joey Padgett, a sneaky little run for that number 83 car, and James Bickford rounds out your top 10, Kenneth.
Ronnie Osmer, who had been fast all race long, settles for an 11th place finish at the checkered flag. Same deal for Reed Wilson, had second for a good majority of the first stint, ends up P12 to end. 13th will go to Max Kennan. Very quiet night out of the 21, but that's where he stands. TJ Cummings got spun near the end of this race, somehow rebounds to 14th at the end of this event. 15th will go to Seminole, Florida's Robbie Lyons for Grit Esports. Colin Fern, who had been up at the front, very aggressive, unfortunately got tallied back to 16th at the wave of the checkered flag. Ryan Vargas struggled in that last run. Playoff driver, I believe, will be under the cut line heading for Chicagoland in a week's time. He finishes 17th. George Balfenge Jr. wraps up the night in P18. 19th will go to Brandon Brown in the number 12 and the 53 of Justin Malillo. He'll bring the Traction.GG Ford Mustang home inside the top 20.
21st belongs to Josh Slate. Jordan Buster will finish in 22nd. Presley Sora did not have the finish that he would have liked or needed going into Chicagoland. He's going to need a pretty darn good finish next week to have a shot to fight for a championship. Sora finishing in P23. He's going to be close to the cut line. Mark Urbillis tried the strategy, didn't quite work, but he finishes in P24. Chris Weaver finishes 25th. Stephen Ellis 26th. Steve Affont 27th. Ford Martin 28th. He had some issues tonight as far as on-track incidents. Case Kallenbach finishes 29th. Then Devin Henry rounds out your top 30, Blake.
31st was Brett Baldeck. 32nd, heartbreak for Leighton Sabile and such a tough break being in the playoffs. He's going to be in a must-win situation next week. Connor Berry 33rd, Michael Massey 34th. Same can be said for Matt Stolnick, who's going to need a win next week from 35th, and Michael Fisher in 36th tonight. So every driver completed at least 70 laps tonight, but nobody did it faster than this man, Corey Heim, your race winner, who has caught up with Eric Estep.
From the pole to the top of the podium, Corey Heim, you are locked into the championship 4. But before we talk about that, I got to ask you about that last. A lot of shuffling there in the top 3. Had to be aggressive there in the final corner, but just take me through your perspective of the final lap there at Pocono.
Yeah, I mean, props to Monday Night Racing. This was a lot of fun coming into this race. I really didn't think that I was going to race like this. I got a little bit of practice last night, and prior to that, I figured it would be a little bit more just spread out and kind of like tire saving and kind of, I don't know, more about just hitting your marks and whatnot. But it ended up being kind of a pack race, as most people saw there. So I didn't really know how to approach the last lap. I've never really had something like this at Pocono, but I was just talking to Adam, and I honestly told him like I would have actually done the same thing. I was thinking about making my move if I was in that position into 1 and trying to clear second place. And we're all, pretty much tandemed into 1, and I kind of pushed him in there and made him make that move. And I kind of thought it was going to work, and I'd hope they would get checked up, but stayed side by side off of 2. And then my plan at that point was just push Bailey into the next 2 corners and see if he could slide up and lose some momentum. And he kind of guarded his entry and went high, so I couldn't do that in 3. So I just drove it in and used him up a little bit. And I thought that was good race there, and he seemed to think so as well. So huge thanks to Elite Performance Industries, Toyota, and Monday Night Racing for everything they do to make this possible. And looking forward to the Championship 4.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun watching that last lap, and you just mentioned it, the Championship 4. You got an extra week to think about it. So what does it mean to be locked into the Season 6 Championship?
That's cool. I mean, I do this for fun. I mean, I come in here and have a good time, and tonight was a lot of fun. Just being up front like we were for most of the night, and sometimes this league gets frustrating when you get caught behind, and sometimes it's fun. So I just kind of come in here and try to have a good time, and to be able to put that pressure on myself to try to take it all home is pretty cool for me, for sure.
Awesome. And trucks next week at Miami. I guess you're not really racing for anything, so what are you looking forward to there?
Just kind of same thing, just having fun. I mean, that's kind of what I enjoy doing with iRacing, and kind of watching the championship battle play out and trying to kind of stay out of the way for the most part. And I know it's going to be a really good race. There's some really good guys in the bubble and some guys that are in some must-win scenarios. So maybe I can play a factor in that. Just try to stay out of the way of the fight of the championship, but just try to get another win would be great.
Sizing up your competition. I like it. Well, Corey Heim, congratulations on the win tonight at Pocono, and good luck the rest of the way and in the Championship 4.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome stuff. That was Corey Heim, your winner tonight. Back up to you, Blake.
All right, we're going to be joined by our second place finisher. I believe Kenneth Bueno has caught up with the driver, the number 5, Bailey Turner.
Yes, sir, indeed. Bailey Turner, a couple of 100 feet short of his first M&R win, but still a lot of pace and a great race overall, Bailey. But just give us your perspective. What was it like defensively behind the wheel, leading the race in the last couple of laps?
Yeah, Adam Cabot and I had a plan there going. We've been teammates and working together for the last couple seasons, and we had the 2-car tandem going there, and we're going to stick with each other until, probably turn 2, turn 3 on the last lap to make sure one of us came away with it there. And unfortunately, we all got into, I think 3. I think Corey was pushing Adam so hard into the corner that he just had to dive low not to hit me. And unfortunately, he took himself out of the running. And then I was like, well, I don't have my rear gunner anymore. So kind of just to sit and duck there with this package and how all the runs develop. And Corey had amazing speed all night. And just, I was like, do I go low right here and risk giving up my right rear where, that was the one thing you didn't want to do all race, or risk him throwing a slider in there on the last lap? And sure enough, he did that and got me up into the marbles. And, at that point, no grip, and definitely not wanting to take him out or take anybody else out. Just unfortunate, though. I was really hoping we'd pull it off here and get that first M&R win. But, it's a little bit of good momentum going into the next race.
For sure, good momentum, and you're the only playoff driver to finish this race in the top 3. Corey Heim, Adam Cabot are part of the playoffs. Did that ever occur to you in your mind that you were racing playoff competition? Did you ever have that in factor, or was it just like any other Monday night, just racing the competition around you?
Yeah, you definitely take it into account and look at who's around you. I remember specifically at the start of the race, I got real tight under Presley and was about 2 inches away from wrecking him. So I'm really glad that we didn't get into it there. And yeah, like you said, just being careful around these guys. Obviously, they're going for something a little bigger than I am at the moment. I'm just trying to go for wins. But it definitely felt like these non-playoff guys. A few of us have definitely gotten used up over the last few weeks from playoff guys. So you definitely keep a record book of who's kind of wronged you throughout the season or in the playoffs, and kind of determines how you're going to race them going forward.
Well, next week, trucks at Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. Any thoughts or expectations about that race?
Probably sounds like another pack race until the tires start to wear out a little bit, but usually high tire wear. So hopefully that comes into effect and we can get spread out and get a little off throttle time and have some fun.
It was a lot of fun watching you out on track at Pocono here this evening. Bailey, on behalf of our entire broadcast team, congratulations on the second place finish, and we'll see you at Chicagoland next week.
Thank you, guys.
Bailey Turner short of the race win, but trust me, we saw his full potential even as a non-playoff driver in tonight's race. We'll have a chance to talk with his teammate, the driver who comes home in P3, Jacob Hitz. You're caught up with Adam Cabot.
Adam Cabot coming home P3 tonight, and there was a moment where I thought you were in the right place at the right time, and then Corey Heim abandoned you at the altar, and you were left all alone. Take us through that last lap.
Yeah, that's a pretty good metaphor right there. Man, there's a lot to unpack after that one. Bailey Turner and I, we had some shake and bake action going on all race long. We were really working together well, and I was leading for a while there, and he was just kind of just pushing me on the straights, keeping us all single file because it was like pretty much impossible to make a pass on the bottom without pulling a huge slider on someone. So if the race stayed green, which is just, kind of what I feel like I'm saying every week in Monday Racing, if the race stayed green, we had him tonight for sure. I feel like I was the car to beat, hit 2 laps later than everyone else, thinking I was probably going to come out like maybe 4 seconds or so behind everyone. Only came out 2 seconds, and I just caught everyone super quick, with just being patient, working my way through them. And of course, caution has to come out, but those restarts at the end were intense. And Bailey and I, we were timing the restarts together. Even though I was in third, I was pretty much determining when he was restarting. I was just coming up right behind him, and I told him when I hit your bumper, that's when you go. So, we were able to clear Corey, and we were trying to settle it between the two of us. And it's tough for me because I'm always, especially this is a really important race for me, home race or home track, trying to get a win to get in the championship 4. But at the same time, Bailey's done so much for me in my iRacing career. I really want to see him get his first win, so I wasn't going to give it to him, but I was going to try to push him for as long as I could and maybe try to make a move coming out of turn 3 or when I knew that it was going to be one of us winning it. But Corey was smart, and he got, as I was pushing Bailey, he got right on my bumper, and we kind of just had a 3-car tandem going down the front stretch. And I didn't want to make my move under Bailey going into 1, but I let off the gas and got on the brakes, and Corey was on my bumper. So Corey basically just pushed me below him, which was a smart move for him. And once I got below Bailey, I knew my race was over. I was just hoping that Bailey would be able to hold on, but unfortunately, Corey gave him a little boot and scoot going to turn 3 and got him as well. So it's tough when you run so well, especially in a race this important to it's not come away with the win, or at least not get Bailey his first win. But it was a fun race, and hopefully next week can just seal the deal, get the points I need, and join Corey in the final 4.
Well, coming out of this race, you're atop the point standings. What do you have to do going into next week at Chicagoland? You're only up by, if my math is correct,
this will determine
17.
7. Okay, well, if your math's correct, which I really hope it is, because that's a way bigger number than I thought it would be. I heard you're not good at math. Is that true? I don't know.
That is very true. But okay, you've got 849. Yeah. Presley Sora is the first car out. He's got 832.
All right. Well,
and he is 17 behind you according to this math. So.
All right. I think your math checks out this time. I think you're good, Jacob. That I guess I just need to have a, kind of what I did last week, just nothing crazy, maybe top 10, top 5. I mean, it can get a little bit weird with people, maybe behind us in points if Presley won the race or something and he leapfrogged in. So you kind of have to be cognizant when you get down to just 4 spots remaining that you don't think you're good on points when you're really not. So I'll definitely take a look at the points, figure out who's where, and kind of try to adapt during the race based on what's going on. But I mean, I feel like I don't know why I just kind of knew all chase that this was going to be the track that I was going to be tough to beat at. So like I said, unfortunate to get the win tonight, but no reason why I can't win next week and get in that way as well. So we'll give it a shot. Big shout out to Atlas Hair Products for sponsoring me for second consecutive season. We're gonna get them a championship this year. That's what I've been telling everyone. We're gonna bring home that championship. We're gonna become the first 2-time Monday Racing champion.
All right, Adam. Well, thanks for your time. Best of luck next week, and we'll see you from Homestead. No, not Homestead. Where are we?
Chicago.
Chicago.
You got the math right, but not the track. But that's all right.
Yeah, and I thought I was good at geography. Oh well. Thanks, Adam.
All right, thanks, guys.
Blake, please take it away.
Thank you, Jacob. And man, what a race we saw here at Pocono tonight. I know we saw Pocono out of the chat enjoying the race, and I know everybody up here in the broadcast booth certainly enjoyed it. I hope everybody out there watching on YouTube, on Twitch, wherever you were taking in this race that you enjoyed it as well. It was great fun for all of us, including the drivers. I'm sure a few tippers, I'm sure, after a race that was that intense, but nevertheless, I think we can all hold our heads high after that one here at Pocono tonight. So without further ado, I'll say thank you on behalf of our entire broadcast team, Ryan Bauer down in the virtual production trailer, Eric Eastep, Kenneth Bueno, and Jacob Hitz. I'm Blake McCandless saying so long to Pocono, but hello to the Frontstretch Post-Race Show that has more continuing coverage of the Out of the Groove 200. Guys?
Thanks, Blake. Welcome, guys, to the Frontstretch.com Post-Race Show. If you're new here, I'm Brandon Hoff. That is Michael Massey. We are live here after the Pocono Monday Night Racing event. Congrats to Corey Heim. Just a little intro for our new viewers. As I said, my name is Brandon Hoff. I am a former Coke driver on iRacing. I currently do iRacing content here for Frontstretch.com. Been doing Monday Night Racing content here for 2 seasons now, I think. Been doing iRacing content for 2 years. Looking forward to doing more this season. Helping out maybe with the Coke series, doing more Monday Night Racing content. And Mike here. Mike, you want to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself here?
Third driver of the number 27. Usually it's the Frontstretch Chevrolet, but tonight it was the Pocono Raceway.
Yes.
And man, that thing was a beauty, designed by Jared Haas. Last time I gave a paint scheme of his a shout out, I didn't mention his name, so Jared Haas. Jared Haas.
There you go, Jared. You got your shout out.
Yeah, so I'm also the content director over at Frontstretch. And be sure to check out frontstretch.com for all your racing, motorsports news, including a recap and columns and stuff about tonight's race, which was a thrilling race at Pocono. Corey Heim got the W.
Yeah.
It looked like Bailey Turner was going to win it for a little bit. I kind of thought he had it. My understanding, obviously, I'm behind the wheel, so it's hard for me to tell what exactly happened, but would Bailey have had it if a late caution didn't come out?
It's tough to say. I mean, Bailey was doing a great job. I have to give it to him. He wasn't really near the front a lot of the night. I know he was fast enough, but this was such a track position race, it felt like, because it was so tough to pass after about, 4 or 5 laps, just because the whole field was kind of even, they're within 0.2 of each other pretty much. So, he was doing a great job once he got out front. If the caution, it's tough to say, if he would have kept it. He might have. I thought Corey was the strongest car all night. He had a phenomenal race. I mean, he was top 3 the entire night. At the beginning of the race, we saw him. I forgot who else was in the top 2 there, but they broke away from the field. And then, they had the long green flag run and he was still up there. But, Bailey needed 1 corner. That's all he needed. It's unfortunate, he kind of got bullied out of the way there in the last corner, but you got to do what you got to do. He still finished second though, so he had a great race.
Yeah, and maybe the win could have helped him feel a little better about his 49ers taking the L yesterday. But
you won't hear me say "Go Birds" ever, never. You never will.
Yeah, still a good run. Good race. I was up there. I don't know. I was fluctuating between the like low 20s and high 30s, whatever.
Yeah.
I played a strategy. They had that long run, and before that long run started, I topped off with gas. So did several others: Justin Malillo, Mark Rabillis, several of us. So we ran it long, and didn't take tires that time either. So by the time that fuel run ran out, my tires were like gone. And,
they're bad. They were bad.
To the point where like the lead pack actually passed me for position, like on the track while I was still milking it out there. And Corey Heim might have rudely asked if there's a minimum speed while he was passing me, because that's how.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
That's how far my tires were gone. But but it would have worked out perfectly because the caution came out right after I pitted. Everybody else pitted, but I decided I didn't want to do what Mark stayed out, went for it in the front row. I didn't want to try to do that. I just figured it'd be a pile up.
That was wild, man. That was wild.
Yeah.
They were 5 wide into turn 1. And I was spotting Nick. And Nick was literally, I just kept saying top of 5, and then top of 4, top of 3, top of 4. Like, it's crazy. I would say that was a game-changing restart or a race-changing restart. Mark did a good job getting out of the way. I will say that. I'm glad there wasn't a wreck up front, because that had when that happened, I thought there was a recipe for disaster, because old tires and no, Mark's a good driver. Mark has his moments, but I thought tonight with old tires and all that and the way you were slipping and sliding, it was gonna be bad. But kudos to everybody. It was a fairly clean race, I would say. We had our fair share of wrecks, but.
Well, I ended up getting caught up in something at the very end where.
Oh, you got caught up in the late. Oh, okay.
We were about 4. It was a restart. About 4 or 5 wide, something in there. Matt Stolneck got to my outside, and Michael Fisher had a run on both of us, and he went to go inside Stolneck. Stolneck blocked him, and right on into me. So I was the one that got taken out of that. I think Fisher got damaged. I don't know whose fault it was between those two. Both of them were driving way too aggressively for 30th position. And I think there needs to be a new stat. I love Matt Stolneck to death. He's a great guy. We've had him on here. But I got to give him a little crap here. There needs to be a new stat on podium for the races that counts how many blocks, how many awful blocks. I think it'd be like the Darlington Stripes thing where you're up to like 60 or whatever.
That's hilarious, honestly. Oh, man. Matt had a rough race. I know he hit the wall early in the race, and that kind of just ruined everything, but I didn't personally see the blocks. You saw it more than me. I'll take your word for it that it was a bad block, or a couple of bad blocks, but that's one of the playoff drivers, too. Matt needed a good night, and unfortunately, didn't turn out the way he needed, but it sounds like it was kind of his own doing at the end there, or whatever it was.
Depends on who you ask, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. It always does. You always get 2 sides of the story. But if we talk about the playoffs for a minute, actually, we have kind of 2 sides of it now after looking at the points. I believe they're being worked on right now as we speak, but oh, there they are. Okay, never mind. They're up. That was quick. Yeah, we see Corey locked himself in, so he'll be racing for a championship at Homestead. You see the 2 guys I want to bring up here, Adam and Chase. We'll actually be having Chase on in a little bit, but they're, I won't say comfortable, but they got a fairly good margin. Joey's got 6 points on Presley, but those 2, if I'm Adam and Chase, I would just focus literally. You get top 10s both races, or next week, I should say. Yeah. You're going to be fine, I think. As long as one of those guys, Presley or Ryan or Leighton or Matt, if they don't win, even Joey, I think they're in a good spot. But, we know Presley. He can win anywhere. We've seen Vargas have good runs. Leighton, Matt's been sneaky good all year. It's gonna be interesting next week. I'll say that. But, good races, though, for those top three there. I think they got exactly what they needed. They all finished top 5. Of course, Corey with the win. But it was all around. That's exactly what you want for the start of a round.
My understanding is it would have been a little tighter. Maybe even Presley would have been ahead of Paget. But at the end, just from what I've heard, I can't. I've only heard one side of the story. I heard that Colin Fern might have given Presley Sora a little tap there at the end, and he lost some spots because of that. And if you remember, if you've been watching our program for a while, you remember when Colin Fern was on here, he had Presley on a certain list of his that he rattled off, saying he'd get him back at some point. So I wonder if tonight was payback. Just interesting to see. During the playoffs, where it matters most is that when we'll have to see what Colin has to say.
Listen, I don't know what happened. I'm just reading and I'm listening and I'm hearing what you're saying and what everybody else is saying, but we know how Colin is. He doesn't go against his word really ever. We'll have to see what happens with that, but yeah, it's unfortunate what happened to Presley. But if there's anyone in this league that can recover from something like that, a late race incident and being behind the 8-ball, it's probably him. And next week with Trucks at Chicago, it's a pretty straightforward race, I guess you could say, because it's run on iRacing Official Series a lot. And I know that's what Presley runs a lot. And Presley's really good at that stuff. So, I'm not going to call him the favorite to win next week. But I'm just saying, if you're in that top 4, if you're probably Joey more so than Chase or Adam, you better watch out. That's all I'm going to say, because I think Presley's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, he's one that could get that walk-off win. And you don't want to be sitting resting on your laurels in 4th in points.
No,
you need a little buffer. Go out there and get the dub yourself.
Yeah, no, definitely, and of course, a win like Corey got tonight. A win just erases any pressure going into the last race. But moving on, I think we're gonna be joined by one of our guests tonight. I believe our first one will be Chase Cabry. He finished 4th tonight. Had a really stout race. I know he didn't start up front, but drove his way through the field. Came home with the top 5, and as I said, he's got a 14-point buffer now over Presley. I believe we have him. There he is.
There he is.
How we doing tonight, Chase?
Up? I'm doing good. Do I need to move my camera and make it look better? Look at that.
I think we're good. We
I thought you were going for like a dramatic, side angle. I don't know.
Whatever. Oh, wait. One's over here, one's over there. I'm all messed up. Let me fix this. All right.
No problem.
You're all good. We see you.
We got you. We hear you. We see you. That's all that really matters, right?
Talk about your race tonight, Chase. You've got a top 5, as I said. I know we were talking off camera a little bit. Good finish. You're pretty comfortable on points, I guess I would say. How are we feeling going into next week?
I just learned that it's the truck. I thought it was the Xfinity car. So it's the Truck at Chicago, which, as you said, Brandon, I think it's going to be another draft track. Tonight was really, really fun, but really, really frustrating at the same time. Just because you could build runs, and as you built the run and you did everything you could do, if you pulled down, you were done. So you had to try to be really smart, and I did. I kind of got myself into trouble as once I got up to the lead, me and Adam started racing each other super, super hard. So it allowed him to eventually be in the right position when 3rd place got caught up, and then it shuffled me back to 4th, and I felt like I was 4th for the remainder of the race. It just was so difficult to try to push around people, or the only option you had is if they decided to make the move to the bottom and you ended up following along the top side of them. So I tried to do everything I could do to get a better finish. I thought coming to the line that I was actually gonna have a shot at running second, but I mean, literally, you see it like Adam gets to my right rear, and I'm just dead in the water. So, not a bad race, but could have been better.
Yeah, for sure. It was wild. If you went side by side with somebody for a while, then
Oh, my camera's falling.
you like lost the pack.
Dang, there we go. Now it's not falling. I don't have to hold it
There we
anymore.
go.
Apologize.
Gotta get the angles right.
Yeah, dude.
Had a
I'm a
seizure
camera
there,
guy, but can't figure out how to operate a camera.
Yeah, you know your camera stuff, so I think you're good.
All good. But yeah, it was true. If you race somebody for too long tonight, you would lose the pack if you battle with them too long. But had you ever experienced a race like that at Pocono, where it's pretty much a pack race?
Yeah,
other than like the practice races we've done for this.
Not really. I mean, it was like I said, damn, it was frustrating. Like I feel like a lot of these races in the Monday night deal I'm learning are more and more draft tracks. I counted it, and there's like 7 of the last 12 races that we've run have all been heavily draft tracks. So yeah, it's super almost frustrating at times. I mean, I'm having a blast. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like the league. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time doing it. But it's frustrating for sure, just because like there's so much draft involved at each and every place. It's like, the opportunities when draft isn't involved, you have to really take advantage of those, like I did at Twin Ring and I did at Richmond, to be able to try to win a race, to lock in, to make it easier for yourself, because we're going to trucks at Chicagoland next week, and it's another draft track, and one slip of somebody and I could be upside down, flipped out of the ballpark, and I'm out of the 4. So yeah, we'll have to go into next week. I think, like you said, what is it, 14 you said?
Yeah, you're 14 up.
So if one of those guys wins a race, I'm 6 up on Paget. So even if like Leighton or one of those guys were to win the race, if I finish 6 or better, then I lock in, I think. So
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something. So I just gotta play my cards right next week.
Yeah, for sure. And that's tough to do at a track, like a draft heavy track at Chicago, right? I mean, how can you play it safe, but also be up on the wheel trying to make the runs and stuff like that? How do you find that balance?
Hell, I don't know. If I could figure it out, I'd figure out how to operate around Daytona and Talladega. I feel like I'm great up until turns 3 and 4, and then I'm flipped upside down. So, yeah, I that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to like figure out going into next week, and figure out how to do it. Hopefully, it's like you said, it's in the daytime, so it's less grip, and tire wear comes into play. I hope that comes in. I hope that happens. And then I'm sure it will after 10 to 15 laps. But yeah, I mean, I felt safe tonight, as in once the race started going, I felt safe, as I ran out of talent in qualifying, so I had to start 22nd because I hit the fence on my money lap. And then I was just like praying there wasn't going to be an early caution. I could just try to bounce as fast as I could to the front. And in that first run, I got to 4th or 3rd. I think, yeah, 4th, and then caution come out, and the restarts were sketchy tonight, just because Pocono's so wide, and you can get so spread out. So not bad. Next week, I think it's just gonna be, you got to do what you got to do to be up front. Hopefully, it's like this week, to where it does involve a little bit of like raw speed with the drafting, so you can kind of get like a front pack breakaway instead of just everybody together.
Yeah, definitely. And my own experience on iRacing, I mean, in years past, it didn't matter. The last 3 years, Chicagoland's been all draft in the trucks. It's literally been like Talladega for at least 15, 20 laps. But that's, they added the night feature on iRacing, so that's a little bit different than the daytime, as we spoke of. But let's say, Chase, how mindful are you going to be about, where your fellow points competitors are going to be running next week? Let's say you're running, 10th to 15th there. How do you, and you got, let's say Presley or somebody like that is running 3rd or 4th, and they got a chance to win. how do you manage, trying to keep yourself out of trouble and maybe just getting a good finish if you know you can't get up there versus, hey, I got to get up there?
He's still here.
Did we lose him?
Might have some technical.
Oh, we might have lost him. I was anxious to hear his answer there.
He just really didn't like your question.
He didn't like my question, man.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
there he is. We got his audio. There he is. Did you
I
hear
thought
me?
Brandon. I thought it Brandon said something he didn't like.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if you heard what I asked. There.
I heard it all. I mean,
Okay.
I think you just got to go. Like, I think no matter what, you have to go. I don't think you can ride around and wait and pray that someone doesn't win the race or something. Like, I think you got to create your own destiny. I've always thought that way, like in all racing. I don't want to wait for someone to push me. I want to try to do it myself. If I do luck into a couple things, like we got lucky tonight, I think for sure. There was a couple instances where I could have been backwards and junked. And been like in a must-win scenario going into a draft track, I would have been stressing. So, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at. Being 14 up, like Presley did win Daytona. Obviously, he's pretty good at these, like plate racing almost. And I think, like you said, 10 to 15 laps on tires. Then it starts to spread out where we're probably gonna have a green-white checkered. We're probably gonna have those 10 to 15. So I'd like to be positioned in a place where I can feel like I'm not going to get junked, and maybe it's not going for the win, but just going for the safest route, but up inside the top 5, I would like to be for sure.
It seems like there's two different kinds of drivers. There's those that want to hear the point situation as the race is playing out for a cutoff race, and then there's those that are like, don't tell me. I'm just going to do my own thing. Which are you?
I mean, I was even asking the guys that I was in Discord with tonight. I was like, "Hey, how many am I good? How many?" Like White Flag came out. I'm like, "How many to the good am I? How many?" Just because I needed to know if I really needed to pass Adam. Like, was that a make it or break it for me? If I passed him, was it gonna do something crazy for me? So, they told me that I was like way to the good, and like they said, I think like 13 or 12 or something. So I knew I was okay, and with that, I was like, if I could sneak a position, I will. I'm not gonna chance it. And then when I looked in my mirror and I saw like nobody was around us, it was literally a 4-car breakaway. I mean, yeah, they were probably 5/10 back, 6/10 back, but that's not in striking distance. So I tried to make the move around him in the tunnel turn on the outside, and I ended up clearing him. But yeah, I think ultimately, like, I like to know what I can do and what I can't do, and when I need to push and not. So I'll be paying attention to the points every single lap probably.
Sure, for sure.
I can relate, I guess. If I was if I was in this, I would probably want to know where my competitors are. Like, I feel like if you're racing up front, especially, I mean, of course you can control your own destiny at that point, but you'd like to know where the guys are so you know how hard you have to push, if like, you have to win if you're 4th or 3rd versus, hey, you got guys right around you, It's like, if you can't go any further, you're good here. But, versus if somebody that can pass you is leading the race, it's like, you got to go get them. It's like, I like to know.
Gosh, we got contact made over here.
Dude, we had contact on the track, and now we got contact post-race.
My camera just had a 4X.
Incident free until the post race.
That's right.
20 minutes after the race. So almost made it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I agree with you. Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, this league like turned in. At first, it was like my buddy's like, "Hey, man, you should sign up for this." Like, all right, whatever. So I sign up, and then I start like looking into it. And I'm like, "Oh man, this thing's pretty sick." Like, it's got a pretty good following, like really good drivers, like guys who I see every week in the garage area. Like, and then I signed up, and then I was like talking to Corey about it at the truck races, and I'm like, "Man, this is gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty fun." So I ran we ran the first race, and then going into Twin Ring, I was like, Arca car is by far my best car. I think it's because when I was racing Arca and K&N, I made like a million laps in those things at every track we were going to. So I have a ton of laps in them. And so I knew that was a place that I could win. Then I won, and I'm like, now it's like I look forward to it every Monday. So now I'm like, now I just keep talking about it. All right, I'm this to the good. I can make Final Four. Like so overboard now. Like it's almost, I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all, because it's gonna be a longer break this time too.
Yeah.
Was there any point tonight where we'll kind of send you out on this, but was there any point tonight where you heard the spotter say, you're in the middle of 5 wide, or it's something like that? Because some of those restarts, like I thought there was 2 people on my outside at one point. There was like a whole nother lane. Did you ever find yourself in any of those positions and you were like, oh no, like this ain't gonna work?
Yeah, I was actually just talking about it with Adam, with who's on the pole, Mark, and when he was on the pole coming to 8 to go, I said, there's a really good chance we get wadded up right here. And I was really praying not. And so we went off in the corner, and I just went to the wall. Like, I saw people breaking down. And I knew if you can just hold people's right rear quarter panel, like, dead, they're done. So I just went to the wall, and Adam went too. And then we came off, and I just started pushing him. And I, like, looked left, and, because I got the triple monitor deal. So I looked left, and I'm like, shit, man, this is gonna be, and literally my friend comes and goes, this is gonna be big, and I was like, yeah, I know, but yeah, no, I mean, there was multiple times where I looked over and I was like, goodness gracious, we're 4 or 5 wide. I don't run a spotter. I don't even have anybody in Discord spotting for me, nor do I use the iRacing one. So it's all up to me looking left and right.
Wow,
that's impressive. I will say that.
Well, you even use the iRacing one.
It's delayed.
Okay.
I think
it's annoying too.
Yeah, you got a car on the inside, still there, like over and over. I'm like, dude, I got it. And then, yeah, and the virtual mirror is like so good. You can see everything out of that thing. So, I mean, even when I was in real life, I told my spotters, like, hey, don't worry about my insides. Like, don't ever call inside. I can always see it. I have my left side mirror, and the right side mirror, or the top mirror, you can't see anything out of. So I was like, clear me outside. Other than that, just feed me lap times and call like a normal race. But yeah, I wasn't really. I don't know why. I think it's because I come from like dirt sprint cars stuff where I don't like hearing people in my ear. Like when you're racing that, it's just balls to the wall as hard as you can go. And I grew up doing that, so I'm like, I can't stand it.
That makes sense. That actually is a good point. I wonder how many dirt guys think like that. It's like they come over to pavement, and now it's like they got somebody talking in their ear constantly, whether it's the crew chief, spotter,
gosh, like ridiculous amount.
Yeah, and now you dirt guys aren't used to that. You guys are used to running these sprint races, whether it's heats, qualifying, hot laps, and then the race. The feature's only like 30, 40 laps normally.
Yeah,
you're done in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, the only thing you got is like the only form of spotting you got is a guy standing out in the corner pointing to go to the top or go to the bottom. Sometimes it's that makes it really tough, but yeah, I come from that, so I don't like hearing chatter in my ear, so I just run everything off and just pay attention to the virtual mirror.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's impressive though, I will say. But congratulations, Chase, on your 4th place finish tonight. You got a, like I said, pretty comfortable margin, I would say, going into Chicago next week. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll hopefully, talk to you maybe next week or the finale.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll see you.
See you. That was Chase Cabery, 4th place finisher tonight. I think he's got a good chance next week as well. I was talking about, about Presley having the iRacing official experience, how Chicago's always run with the trucks. Now, Chase has been on iRacing for a while, so he's got a lot of experience with that as well. I feel confident about him advancing to the finale. I guess we'll see, but I think he's confident. He's been great all year for his first season, so it's going to be exciting for him.
I think he makes it as long as, he keeps the 4 tires.
Yeah.
Nothing happens to him. Keeps all 4 tires on the track. I think he's got a pretty good shot. But you never know. You get caught up in something just like that. So, I don't know. Tune in to watch next week to see if he makes it or not.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to put it. Just tune in next week and we'll see. But I feel good about it. But anyway, moving on. I believe our next guest had another good run tonight. Ran top 10 pretty much all race. I was actually racing with him in the practice race last night a bunch. Gary Sexton, P6 tonight. How about that, Gary? Good race for you.
Yeah, we finally got a clean race in. It was it's been a wild season for me, not in a good way. Just getting a lot of crashes, a lot of misfortune. Just kind of being patience really hurt me this season. I was not patient tonight. I was very aggressive and kept me up front. Usually I'm letting guys by. I'll try to give up a few spots and save tires, and then I get run over by somebody. So yeah, it was really nice to finally have a race that was clean and everything fell our way. No weird cautions came out or anything when we had a pit cycle. So everything went smooth, and we finished about where I think we should finish normally most weeks. So look forward to finishing out the season strong.
Yeah, for sure. The way this race, you really could play defense if you wanted to. Say if you just stayed up high, is that kind of what you were doing? Was just keeping outside, so you'd have that run off the corner.
Like you couldn't pass on the bottom unless someone really made a mistake off the corner. Like obviously, as the run went on, you could get better runs as guys were getting loose. But yeah, early in the run, you just hung on the top and just pin guys down. I mean, guys are getting upset about it, but like that's what you have to do, because if you go to the bottom or you let somebody by, there's going to be a train of people that want in, and that's what happened to me at Richmond when we wrecked with David. It was just like I was up in like 6th place. I let one guy by, and then just a constant conveyor belt of cars that fell all the way to 20th, and then trying to get in behind David, we net coded and he went head on the wall. So it's like, I hate to have to race that way, though I enjoy it. Like I enjoy that. I don't know why Pocono gets such a bad rep. I love racing there. I think it's a lot of fun. You really gotta really plan out your moves. You're not like wheeling it the whole time. Though tonight we were wheeling it pretty good. We had a pretty good setup, but having to think about what you're gonna do, be patient. You had guys like the 41 just going all out right at the beginning of the race, diving under people and throwing, and it's just like he's either gonna crash or he's gonna wear out his tires, and both happened. So
I was gonna say, poor Matt's been thrown under the bus now twice this episode.
I'll tell you the idea I had earlier in the show, Gary. Since you run podium, they should start a tracker on podium that tracks the bad blocks that Matt throws throughout the race, like the Darlington Stripe tracker.
Yeah. We need a sponsor for it. Let me think who would be a good sponsor for that.
I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'm sure we could think of one over the week.
Something to do with blocks.
Those people or like
presented by Ryan Newman. Hard to pass.
All tell.
All tell. There you go. So Gary, you like I said, you had a really good race tonight. Looked fun out there. And we were talking about the whole single. It was kind of single groove, unfortunately. Because you couldn't really pass on the bottom. How frustrating is it? Because I don't know how long you've been on iRacing, but I know in the past, iRacing's old tire model used to be, you used to be able to run the top, used to be able to run the bottom. And as recent as, about a year ago, Pocono had a grip strip at the top where I think it was turn 1. You run the top, you run the bottom, easily pass. How frustrating is that though? Like, you literally have to stay committed to one line. You get a run on somebody, can't really take it, but you maintain your track position pretty well all night, it seemed like, in managing all that.
Yeah, I think for me, the frustrating part is not that I can't pass or that I have to, that it's one groove. The frustrating part is everyone around me not like just taking a breath for a second and not trying to, like, I know everyone thinks that they have to get all they can right off the start because, like, oh, it's so hard to pass. It really actually becomes much easier to pass if you just chill and save your tires and you let everyone else do their thing, and then you know everyone starts sliding around and you can get good runs off on the front stretch. Or I think the best place to pass for me was either the outside of outside 3-4, outside 1, or backing way up on the into the tunnel turn and just like getting a huge run off into the short chute. So for me, the frustrating part is less about like not being able to pass, because I kind of I know like multi-groove racing is great, and it'll come, hopefully it comes back someday to iRacing. I was on the sim before we had the new tire model and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But this is just the way we have to race right now, and I have fun, I have fun trying to figure out what the next move is going to be. Like I like playing chess and stuff, and it's the cliche thing. It's like a chess game though. You have to be ready to give up a little bit, maybe, to knowing that you're going to be able to get that back later on. Granted, sometimes in this league it's hard to predict a green flag run, but generally late in the season, we start having really clean races here. So I figured, after the practice race last night, we ran green for quite a while, and there was a good chunk of people in there, that it may work itself out, and it kind of did. And I just took my time at the beginning, knowing that, we had a really long race. 80 laps is a long race at Pocono. I'm kind of, I don't know if I wanted that cautions late or not. Like, I was kind of feeling pretty good about where we were. I think I finished a little bit higher up with the restarts and stuff than I probably would have if it stayed green. But yeah, like once those cautions came out, like then it kind of switched for me. I was just like, if I restart on the bottom, I'm gonna try to get all I can through one without spinning myself out, and then just do everything I can to get back to the top. If not, if I start on the top, I'm going to try and pass as many people as I can going through one, and see what happens. And fortunately, that last restart, I think we restarted 10th and we finished 6th. So good stuff.
That's that high side coming in clutch. Were you mindful at all of the playoff drivers? Was that a thought going through your head tonight, or was it just, hey, I'm here to run my own race?
I definitely, if I was in their spot, I would want to be raced a certain way. But I, just like all of us here, we raced, we were all non-playoff drivers for the first half, for the first part of the season. And I've got a list of guys that, race me a certain way, and
everybody's got a list.
I have nothing to lose. They have everything to lose. So they can continue to race that way, or they can yield the positions. I'm not gonna turn somebody on purpose. I'm gonna do everything I can to not make contact. But knowing, as a non-playoff guy, outside of a few, like, I'm gonna race you because I'm here. I'm still chasing my first win in this league. I've had some really brutal losses that still haunt me every Monday night, with, especially on the dirt when we were running dirt tracks and stuff. Like, I'm sure you guys know, like, I've dominated those just to been taken out by something stupid, or we were gonna, in the super late miles at Michigan, we were passing Kyle Busch in turn 3 on the last lap, and we ran out of fuel because we didn't fill the tank up, and it's just like, so that's always in the back of my head. Like, if I'm up in the top 5 and I have a shot to stay up there, I'm gonna, like, I feel like I race with a lot of respect. I let guys go, but you never seem to get it back. So tonight I didn't let as many guys go. Early on I did, but it's just, do I think about it? Yeah, of course, but they have more to lose than I do in that situation. So I put the ball in their court to make the decision that they feel they have to make.
I feel like that's how most drivers feel that are non-playoff guys. I feel like they think, the ball is in their court. They can decide how they race you. and that's how they'll get raced back. But some guys, they'll say, "I don't care your position. I'll race you as hard as you can. You're gonna take it whether you like it or not." But go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I like my personal etiquette on the track is if you catch me, I'm gonna, depending on the track, like okay, tonight at Pocono, if you've caught me, right, like you've ran me down or we're there, you get a run, you get to my inside. I'm not just I'm gonna try and see if I can maintain that. And most times, the first time you do, but if you come back and you catch me again, then I'm letting you go. And I think you can ask anybody I raced around tonight. Like that was the case until it was late in the race, and then it was just obviously you have to do all you can to keep your spot. But yeah, so
yeah, definitely.
Now we do this show and we don't get to check the chat and all that stuff. Are you mad at anybody? Is anybody mad at you?
I'm not mad at anybody. I think like I said, the 41, he clowned himself a little bit tonight. But that's what's new. Just kidding, Matt.
We appreciate any beef you have with anybody on this show. So anything you got.
Someone chirped at me. I think it was Paget. He was chirping at me. He's like, "Oh, awfully aggressive for whatever." And I was like, I mean, I guess like I said, I've been respectful all year. Like I don't, you got a line of cars behind you. I'm not about to just let all them pass me. I don't, I know you're in the playoffs right now, so take it if you want it. Spin me out. Do what you're gonna do. Do it or don't. That's. I'm not gonna hit him. I'm not gonna door him. I'm gonna just gonna race. I have fun. I'm trying to have fun too. I feel really not like a chip on my shoulder, but I went 2 rounds in the playoffs last season. I made the playoffs first season. I felt like I should have been in the playoffs. I came up a few points short, even after the disastrous season I had. If I would have made it to this round, this run would have been really, really solid for my case. And we have 2 really good tracks for me coming up. So it's just man, but beef. No, I try I try to not have too much beef just because I help run the league and it's, it's better not to, but there's definitely a list of guys I keep right here on my dashboard that I know how to, I'm just kidding, but,
I believe you. I believe you if you had it.
No, I know. It's just it's not actually on my dashboard. I have a pretty good memory. But I think everything was good. For me, like I said, there might be some people mad at me. I know David won't talk to me, so after Richmond. But it is what it is, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, that was my race in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, good. Congrats on the good run. Thanks for joining us. I'll send you out on this one. Have you got your Super Bowl tickets yet?
No. Unfortunately, unless I, get an opportunity to go some other way, I don't know if I'll be buying Super Bowl tickets anytime soon. Especially I feel like if I was going to buy tickets to the Super Bowl to see the Eagles play, it would have been the first time that they went, that I would be I guess they've been to the Super Bowl twice since I've been alive. Yeah. So, the first time I was in, I don't know, 11th grade, I think, or something. So I probably wouldn't have been able to go then. It would have been the first. Yeah, it would have been the first time in 17, the 17 season that would have felt cooler to go to. They're just so good this time around that it's man, I wouldn't want to spend all that money just because I know they're going to win. So it's
Hey now.
Look. I mean, we can lay it out on paper. Yes, Kansas City has a great team, great quarterback. Travis Kelce, great, but not Kittle. That was the team we just steamrolled.
Kelce,
Kelce, yeah, Kelce and Mahomes. Who else you guys got? Like, there's no.
I'm not a Chiefs fan. You guys whooped our butt. I'm a Giants fan, man.
Oh, that's right.
You could take someone off the street and make them look like a good receiver.
This is true, but they haven't seen a defense like the Eagles have. Their defense hasn't seen an offense like the Eagles have. I mean, like if the Eagles are doing well and the Giants are going like out of the NFC East teams, like I can tolerate the Giants the most.
Thank you.
For some reason.
I can appreciate that.
Everyone else no. But yeah, Packers, I like the Packers a lot.
Thank you.
But they
they're gonna lose Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I wish these guys would just put it away, just like park it, like I hope you
make
guys
up your mind. Just decide what you want to do. But anyways, we've got too far off track. We've got too far off track.
Go Birds! I hopefully everyone enjoyed my Eagle scheme tonight. I thought that thing was looking fresh. So, oh, and I have to add this too. So I grew up in Pennsylvania near Pocono. So this is my home track, which is why I'm an Eagles fan, because most people know this already, but Pocono is only like 2 hours from Philly.
Yep.
I grew up in that area, a big Eagles fan, thought it was fitting to run a Eagles car, and that's going to be our car for the next couple of weeks up until the Podium 500, which is Super Bowl, the day of the Super Bowl. So hopefully we win the Podium 500, and then the Eagles win the Super Bowl a couple hours later.
What a day that would be for you.
It would be a good day.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Gary, and congrats again on the good run. Hopefully, I just hope it's a good game. I
hope both teams have fun.
I don't think it's going to be a good game. I'll be real honest.
All right. At least he's honest.
Good seeing you, Gary.
All right. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it.
See you.
All right. That was Gary Sexton. He finished P6 tonight. Great run for him.
Apologies to non-football fans for our little aside there, but it's still fresh on the minds.
If we want to get back on the topic of racing, though, Mike, I think we got something we want to talk about and plug here. If you want to talk about it a little bit.
For sure. We'll get back to it right after this message real quick.
Frontstretch.com, providing up-to-date news, analysis, and commentary on all the latest in the world of motorsports. Check out Frontstretch YouTube page for post-race content after the checker flag waves for most NASCAR events, giving you up-close interviews with your favorite drivers and the stories that matter each weekend. For the best seat of the track and the best view on the web, visit frontstretch.com.
Well, there you saw it. Frontstretch.com. Visit our site. We got a lot that we're doing, especially here as the racing season approaches. But now I believe we're going to talk about something we're doing on the site that I think is pretty cool, and I know Mike thinks is pretty cool too. What are we doing here, Mike?
Well, we want to. We'll preview next week in a second, but we just want to take a second to promote our NASCAR 75 greatest drivers list that we're doing. Started doing it last week and had the whole staff, a bunch of our writers contribute, and it's a solid list. Check it out. It's coming out every weekday. But what do we got next week for the old Monday Night Racing, Brandon?
Well, we've mentioned it a few times. We got the Chicago in the Craftsman trucks. I almost said Camping World, but we're almost to a new season now, so it's Craftsman trucks. Yeah, it's gonna be easier to say now. Most people grew up a Craftsman, but yeah, I think it's gonna be an exciting race. It's gonna be a draft track. I think most people know that already. Corey can go in there and do whatever he wants, really. He's locked in. Like I said, and I've said it a couple of times now, I think Adam and Chase are in a good spot. They just got to be cautiously aggressive, I guess. They got to be mindful of, all those guys behind them. Or at least Presley on back, because I think even if Joey beats Chase and then they win, or Adam, that'd be bad for them. But, they got to be mindful. They got to be cautiously aggressive, as I said. I think all top four, though, is going to be really strong in the points. And then you got Presley, who I think is going to be great. I think Vargas is going to be good. He's pretty far out, I think.
Vargas is 10 points out.
Okay, so yeah, that's doable. Yeah.
But then you go to Leighton Sibile and Mestalnek. They pretty much have to win.
Yeah. Well,
so
Leighton has won a super speedway this season. I believe he won Talladega. So
the last race before the cutoff. So
yeah.
Would we see another dramatic moment from him?
It would be something, I tell you. I'm looking forward to it. I know the drivers, they're probably going to be a little stressed, but I think most would say they're looking forward to it, especially, going to Homestead for the finale. That's going to be a fun race. We'll talk about that next week, but they got to get through next week first. I think it's going to be a fun race. I think everybody should tune in. But as for tonight, I think that'll do it. Thanks for joining us, guys, on the Frontstretch.com post-race show. As I said, check us out on Frontstretch.com. We got a bunch of stuff going on, as I talked about a little bit ago, and Mike talked about the 75 greatest NASCAR drivers list. Check that out. Every weekday we come out with a new set, or continuing on the list, as I should say. But anyway, I am Brandon Hoff. That is Michael Massey. Join us here next week, same time, or actually an hour earlier, I should say, probably. At 7:45, Podium Esports. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.